All right, there was something from a membership channel. There was something on that I want to talk about on Facebook that was posted. I got this pretty nice text, and I don't think I could have wrote it myself. It was actually on a comment section. It wasn't a text. It was actually on the comment section of my YouTube channel, and it was a long one. And I posted it on Facebook, and then you get these people that are chiming in, and basically the way that we've been doing this for 14 years is kind of pushed the I had a YouTuber that does bat reviews text me a while ago and said that I pushed the limit. Whenever I do these videos and I get people to think, instead of walking up to a van or a truck or trailer and asking the guys in there about bat speed and weight distribution. And guys, this is not the first time I've heard this in the last 10, 15 years. Is, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just bat reps. They're given a product to sell, and they're supposed to sell it, and they're told what the manufacturer tells them. I've gotten arguments over the internet about guys that are, one guy tried to throw MOA at me, and it's not the way I think, because he's talking about 12-inch barrel. You can load the hands and still have a 12-inch barrel. It's going to swing like an end load. Well, no, if you load the hands too much, it's going to swing a 12-inch balance bat. And I tried talking to him about this, and he just doesn't listen. And I don't try too hard. I don't waste my time trying to convince anybody, basically. I'm here to do my stuff. It's just the way I've been thinking for 40-something years, since the beginning. And I think what the YouTuber that does bat reviews said today is I'm pushing the bar, I guess. And if so, then that's fine. But really, what the long comment said today is, I'm doing this to have you guys think that you're not buying, and that this is the reason I started this, 14 years ago. And I'm, instead of walking up and paying $240 bucks for a bat, and then you take it home and it's a piece of shit. 14 years ago, I did the same thing with seniors whenever they're telling me the guy on the truck said that this was the best bat he had ever swung. And then I pick it up and it's a piece of shit. And I actually tell him, and I was talking to Dennis Abernathy, I said, man, I'm thinking about doing my own videos and just doing reviews on these bats, because I like to hit. And he was like, yeah, okay, we'll videotape and we'll get out there and just give our honest opinion. And we did curse a little bit too at the beginning. I think we kind of calmed it down, unless you see behind the scenes. But what a lot of people are talking about right now, they're commenting on that. And usually a couple of bat reps will get in there and comment on that little, if you guys are on Facebook, look at it. It's on my wall on Facebook. And I don't know who actually posted it on my comment section, because it doesn't have his name on there. But on you bat manufacturers out there, because I'm going to put this at that, probably try to put it at that second tier, maybe that lower tier that you're going to get it anyway, is the way you're doing your weight distribution. It wasn't like that 14 years ago. It wasn't like that 10 years ago. Just about 5 years ago, it started to change. And I don't even know who that was trying to call. And it started to change where people started listening to me, and the bat manufacturing companies were listening to me. And then you get your reps up there, the guy that thinks he knows, and he starts talking about, well, Suncoast has, I think he said in that text, well, Suncoast has 3 different loads, and they actually, depending on if they have a 3/4 ounce end load, and, they're weighting their bat, and they're weighting their bat. The way they're distributing the weight in the bat depends on if it's a 3/4 ounce end load, 4 ounce end load, like the Mega's 3/4 ounce, 4 ounce end load on that Mega. I think it's a 4 ounce, close to a 4 ounce. And then he's talking about they always had the end weight in it, and then they just add the handle weight depending on what they want, a half ounce end load, 3/4 ounce end load, something like that. Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, basically I don't usually reply back, but I want to reply back to him. I said, then what happened to the reloaded bat, the bat that you guys are claiming is reloaded with that high hand weight? You turn that bat into a 1/4 ounce end load, maybe even a balance bat, because your end weight, in other words, you load, you lie. I'm not saying you're lying. I don't actually think you know what you're talking about, because what you did was, if that was true, you would have a 17 on the end and you'd have a 10 on the hands if you're trying to get that 3/4 ounce end load on that 27.5 ounce bat, but it's a 26.5 ounce bat, 26.5 ounce bat. So I don't understand. You're talking about the way they do it is they put their end weights in there, and then they go up and down on the hand weight. Like this is they'll have that weight, right? It's a 3/4 ounce. They have that weight. It's a 1 ounce. They have that weight. It's a half an ounce. So they're already slapping that in there, and then they go up and down on the weight to tell you what it's a half ounce, 3/4 ounce. That doesn't make sense to me whenever somebody gets out there and tries to talk about weight distribution. My weight distribution is totally different than other people's weight distribution, because their weight distribution is everywhere. Mine has a certain formula to it. Prime example, this is a 26 ounce Easton. It's the hot bat right now. Everybody's talking about this bat right now, but their weight distribution is like the mother load. So what Easton did here, the mother load, that was what they're calling it, which I understand the mother load. So what Easton is doing is not Mario Foster. The people at the plant at Easton is doing is they're loading these bats with heavy end weight. So this one, okay, just give you numbers. The 27 ounce is 17.4 on the end and 9 on the hands. I just got this 26 ounce today. It's 16.4 and 9.1 on the hands. So there's no room. You're either going to be strong as shit to swing the 27, or you're going to be not as strong to swing the 26. There's no in between there. They should have went in half ounce increments. I actually thought this bat, if they would have weighted it right, I actually thought this bat was going to be like a 8.7 on the bottom and a 16.8 on the end, because you go in half ounce increments. You take half ounce out of here, half ounce out of there. What they did was, when they did this one, they just took a whole ounce out of the end, which I guess that's what they're... I have a lot of bats in here, guys. I guess that's what they call their mother load. So the way wet bats are distributed in hand weight, end weight, I do have a formula. I know what it is. This been asked about the formula. I ain't giving it out. I'm not going to help, because we've gotten this far, and I'm not going to help these people because, it's not because I don't want to. I do want to help everybody, but it's already getting there anyway, right? So I do want to help these people out in the way they weight distribution. That's how come I get the most shit I get in when I do this is talking to people about that's not a balanced bat, or that is a balanced bat. That's not a 3/4 ounce end load. That's not a mother load. Even with that Mario Foster, it used to be called the Ron Parnell mother load. I actually came out and said, that's not a mother load. They had 10.5 in the hands. They made that a balanced bat. Did not perform. And that was a big, thick ass barrel. That bat never really took off, because that barrel just didn't let that ball absorb. It didn't absorb that ball, right? So when you don't have mass to absorb it to actually get that trampoline effect. So it's funny. Me and Billy were doing this, and Billy started doing it. He didn't teach me shit. A lot of people are talking about Billy taught me. No, I was there when Billy was doing it. Billy didn't set me down and say, hey, this is the way I do this. I was over his shoulder watching him do that. And then I would ask him questions, right, about doing this. And then what I did was later on, because me and Billy separated for about 10 years, later on, I started doing my own shit. I started taking it off and experimenting in different directions on how to do, the soft barrel, the hard barrel, that's me that was doing it. And Bubba, because Bubba was there whenever we, that light that went off, and me and Bubba started talking about it at the softball field when we were doing hitting, and we actually brought some 70-year-old guys out there and started giving them different bats and watching their performance on that softer barrel. This is years ago, guys. And like, we're right. You know, that's that bro science shit, right? I talk about bro science a lot. Well, what happens with bro science, you have this idea, and physics is telling you about that idea, right? Softer barrel, better trampoline effect with less bat speed, less miles per hour. So what you do is you take the bat, you know, and it was comparable to this bat. So you take the bat and you go, hey, Larry Casper, and you go, swing this. And you sit back and watch him, and you videotape him, and he's hitting P-rods. Because this is a softer barrel. His bat speed is very slow. And you're like, there you go. That's bro science. That's taking what is put on pen and paper. That's taking a theory, taking what science is, and taking it out and giving it to people to actually test out. And then you go, wow, that works that way. What a lot of these bat manufacturers do out there is they take that science and they go, what? It's a 10-inch barrel, and I can load the hands, take a little stress off the barrel, so I can actually get a little bit of longevity out of it, but it's going to perform the same because it's a 12-inch barrel. That MOA shit gets thrown out there at you, and then they start swinging it, and my guys they swing it, they go, okay, this is badass because we have 50-year-old guys swinging it, right? We have 45-year-old guys swinging it, and then all of a sudden my guys start swinging it and go, oh man, this bat has no ass on it. And they would come back and go, it's got a 12-inch barrel, it should swing like an inload. 3/4 ounce. No, it does not, because the hand weight's too high. You know, that's what I'm talking about. They didn't take the bros, they didn't do the bro science. They took the science, and in their mind, they actually believe that shit works without really testing it with the seniors that should be swinging that bat, because it has a very soft barrel on it. They're taking guys with that 100-mile-an-hour. Hey, give it to those guys. Let them swing it. I've seen the guys that test those bats. They're freaking studs. Anything in their hands, they're going to tell you, oh shit, this bat is hot. This bat is hot. Well, you work for them. You know, you guys, I've had companies before, guys. I've had companies before. Hardly any of those guys went against me when I asked them their opinion. Hardly any of them went against me. So you think you're going to get that guy that says, but this bat sucks. And this is the reason. So there's that's introduced into that. The problem with us is my guys will tell me if it sucks or not. Are still going to be there with me. I want that. I want that feedback from my guys. I want that. And I got different guys out there that are swinging them. Georgia guys. I have a couple of bat review guys that actually swing stuff that I say, can you test this out? You know, let me know what you think about it. And we're all on the same page. I'm the last one that makes the decision because I used everything to actually do it, and plus the hitting part. So what you have is the weight distribution, because I remember bitching and moaning about Combat back in the day, loaded their hands. Dee Marini loaded their hands. Mikan used to pour the end load in here, and then it would run all the way down, and it would collect in the end. So the 27-ounce bats would have a big plug that big in the end of the Mikans, right? So I'd bitch and moan, like, what happened? Okay, what happens to this part of the bat? So you're actually making your bat smaller when you do that. You're hitting because what happens here? Nothing. This is just load. You know, this is just load. That's all that is. So that's all on your old DeMarinis and your old Mikans. They had that big old plug in them, and they'd pour it in from the ass end, from the handle, to put the handle on it. Well, what happens when you would cut those bats open? On one side, they'd have a line of the material that they poured into it on one side, and you would peel it out. Like, okay, what if you hit something on there? It's not going to have that same effect. So when you would turn that bat in your hands, and I've said this on videos, you know why I'm posting, on that Facebook channel? I'm posting on Senior Softball Bat Reviews. I got a new channel out there, Senior Softball Bat Reviews, because the old channel I can't get into anymore because they closed my account. I started posting all of my old shit from 14 years ago, 13 years ago, is because I said shit in there way long before anybody else knew about it. So you can listen to me and go, wow, this is shit that he talked about years ago. So when I started bitching and moaning about, hey, you get so we turn the bat in your hands, one side would be hot and the other side would be hitting that part that actually drained on that one side. Or when they would lean the bat, this has happened too. They'd pour it in, they'd lean the bat this way, so you got on the end plug would be in an angle, right? So when you cut that bat open, they didn't know I cut the bats open. So when they cut that bat open, you would have this much plug on this side and then this much plug on that side. So it'd be at an angle. It would dry like this. It's like, so one side would be hotter than the other one, So I'd actually call the bat manufacturer and go, hey, do you know this? You have this problem when they're in China because they have no quality control over there. You know, so in China they would they didn't let them know about it because the bat manufacturer's not cutting their bats open, but we would crack them and find out how they made them, what kind of weight you put in the end of it, dense mass, or, you know, we preached that from the beginning about dense mass. You got to have dense mass. That's that, you know, on the 27, it was a 27 ounce, even the 26 D-Marines and Combats had that much plug in it, but I was trying to tell them, I did it to TPS because they called me and asked me, you need to have dense mass in the end. You need to bring that weight down to dense, right there in the end cap. And if you could load it in the end cap, you know, and run it like that, load that weight in the end cap, put dense mass, something tungsten would be the best. You know, it's not lead, it's tungsten. Tungsten is a rubber lead looking stuff. And just pour it in the end of that, but tungsten's pretty expensive, so they're not going to do that. It's all about making money, right? They pour that in the end of it, and then that frees up all that area that actually had a plug in it. So it freezes that area up. So you get a better trampoline effect on something like that. You get bigger mass on the end. So you're moving a mass from here. You're moving a mass from here to here, right? So better trampoline effect, more weight toward the end, get a better trampoline effect. Even on your 12, 13, 13.5, 14 inch barrels back in the day, you know, you could get all that. But it's funny how and I just seen it with the Mario Foster today, they took an ounce, the way they're doing the weight distribution, they took an ounce out of the end of that bat. So what do you say they about a 25 ounce bat? And the 25 ounce bat, you know, so if that is their theory, if that's Easton's theory, right? So you go out and buy a 25 ounce bat. What's a 25 going to be? A 15.4 on the end on the 25, and a 9 on the handle. So basically, what you're doing there, basically what they did was they took a 4 ounce big mother lobe, 3/4 ounce to a 1/2 ounce, right? That's a 1/2 ounce. So the 26 is a 1/2 ounce. It's not a full ounce like you did on 27. So you're going from a 27, and you can't call it a mother load anymore, right? So it's not the mother load on the 26. Now you go down to the 25, it's a balance bat. You see what I'm talking about, what they're doing? And I'm not saying, this bat is pretty hot. It's got a soft barrel on it. I like it. It's a one-piece bat. It's pretty hot. But what you're doing is you're taking off the performance whenever you're going down and you're taking that weight out of the end. So this bat's a 26, 16.5, 16.4 on the end. That's not my swinging weight. You know, that is some other people's swinging weight. And the 27 has a 17.4 on the end. That's not my swinging weight. My back's going to hurt, right? So what do? You know, I like the way the bat swings. I like the way the 27 swings. We haven't swung this one yet. Probably not going to like this too much, is what I'm saying. I'm just predicting. Unless that barrel gets really soft on that 26 ounce bat, but it's got a 16.4. It's got 9.1 on the hands. They took an ounce out of the end. Now let's say the 25. If they do make a 25, that's going to be a balance bat. You know, who is doing these bats? You know, and this is the things that I want to talk about. And when I do the review, I'm going to say the same thing I said to you guys about that. You can't go down in ounces on the end load because it changes the whole mother load deal, the whole balance points. Because your balance points are supposed to stay the same. You know, you guys go up. So basically, this is a pretty good right here. So this is a balance point. I've used this thing. So what you have here is your balance point, right? So what you're doing is you have this bat, and I'm going to say right there. I'm just guessing, but it's just to show you a deal. This is the 27, right? Your balance points. This is your 26, your balance points. This is your 25, your balance points. Shouldn't be like that on the same bat because it's called a mother load for a reason. So what you need to do is when you have your balance points, let's say right here on a 3/4 ounce, you say it right there, 1 ounce, you have it right there. What that balance points, when you go up and down in weight, needs to stay the same every time. So how do you do that? How do you do that to that balance point stay the same? You go in 1/2 ounce increments, 1/2 ounce here taken out, half ounce here taken out to a 20, from a 27 to a 26. And then the same to get a 25. But your balance points on that 25, 26, and 27 need to stay the same going up and down. It doesn't with the Mario Foster. Actually, the guys that get the best performance off these bats are the heavier bats. Guys, thanks. This is just a little rant. I've been inside watching Facebook and watching YouTube, and I just wanted to say that because I just got this bat in today, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the balance points and then the replies on the way people think, you know, not necessarily the way I think, because it's all a formula with me, and I got to take that formula and put it into my bro science and then actually get out there and test it. Thanks, guys.